Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we've got our final part looking through those original vintage numbered only pan books. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay then, so we're starting off with a science fiction classic really, Prelude to Space, Arthur C. Clarke. This is number 301 and we'll go from 301 up to the very end of this numbered series, and this one dates from 1954, and I suppose pan books, a bit like Panther and Corgi at this time, had started to publish sort of better named science fiction authors, and Arthur C. Clarke was definitely in there, and I really like the pan science fiction. It's something they did quite a bit of over the years, and that's a really nice example of it. Here we are, 302, The Long Memory, powerful tale of pursuit and vengeance. And one thing we really will notice is that from now until the end, the cover design really comes into its own, and a lot of these books are absolutely superb. I just love them so much. It's such a great period. Now we've got Agatha Christie, Murder in the Mews. I've got a couple of copies of this. This is my slightly worn first, I believe. I think it's the first. Yeah, that's the first. And then this one here is just a slightly later reprint of it. Yeah, 1957, but it retains pretty much the original cover, doesn't it? More than anything else, it looks virtually identical to me. A little bit darker on the reprints case, but as I said in past videos, I don't mind collecting little variations of the covers, particularly if it's a completely new sort of cover. 304 here, The Shrimp and the Anemone, L.P. Hartley. Eric Ambler, Calls for Alarm. 305. 306, Unbroken, Alistair Memoirs, The True Story of a Submarine. One of those sort of post-war ones. It's got a little booklet in there. Make writing your hobby. It's a nice copy of that. Usually if you find them with that little booklet in, like original advert, it generally means the book hasn't actually been read that much, or someone read it and maybe used that little flyer as a bookmark or something. Here's an absolute classic, The Diary of a Young Girl, so the Anne Frank Diary, number 307. This is the original one. I used to think that this was actually really tough to track down because it took me ages to find one, but in actual fact I've seen a few first editions of that one since then, so I reckon it did have a fairly decent print run. 308, Head of a Traveller, another crime one here. Nicholas Blake. This one's on my upgrade list, Time to Heal, The Story of a Country Doctor. Okay. Yeah, a bit of a worn copy of that one. I've got maybe out of I suppose about 10% of the entire numbered only run are ones that I am looking to actually get better copies of. This would be an example. This is Mysterious Affair Styles. Got a little 10p there and a worn old spine, but it is the original printing. And I've had this one through my hands a few times. There we are. But it never seems to turn up in great shape, which is a shame. So, you know, when you collect, well, not just pans, but books in general, there's always something else that you're looking to complete. And even with a full run, which I've now got, as I said, I reckon 10% I would be more than happy to upgrade if nicer copies sort of came my way, you know. 311 here, The Case of the Vagabond Virgin, Earl Stanley Gardner. Nice painted jacket on that one, airbrushed almost, similar to Adele, in fact, from 10 years prior to that. Michael Gilbert, Death Has Deep Roots, tense court drama with an exciting plot. Okay. See, that's nice condition, that one. The Trouble at Number 7, dramatic story leading to murder trial, Gerald Bullitt. Night in Babylon, James Wellard, provocative novel of future liberation. And interestingly, that one's got like a glossy cover. They started doing that on certain books for, I don't know what the reason was. And this is a bit of another precursor to the pan book of horror stories, and this one is quite clearly there, chosen by famously Herbert Van Thal. So there we are. This is a really nice horror anthology. Beautiful jacket, that one. I really like this particular book. It's one of my favourites. There's the list there. Yeah, so that is, you could say, a bookend to the Pan Book of Horror Stories, for sure. Little Madeleine, Mrs. Robert Henry. Another nice jacket on that one. I think that was a sequel, that one. Another Saint one, Saint Goes West. So this is the popular character of the Saint tying in with the emerging popularity of the Westerns and the Westerns on TV around this sort of time. And this particular period was when Pan published a few really great Westerns, which we shall see in a little while. But that's a really nice sort of double whammy there of a Western and a Saint book. And here's a follow-up to that one we just saw. This is Madeleine Grown Up. Same author, Mrs. Robert Henry. 318. 319. Mask of Dusk, a novel of motor racing. She's having a bad dream there by the look of it. It's only the cars that really date this as mid-1950s, isn't it? Westward the Sun, Geoffrey Cottrell. 320. Another one a little bit lower grade. John Berry, it says the artwork there. And then 321, the third one in that sort of trilogy by C.S. Lewis. We had Out of the Silent Planet and Voyage to Venus. This is that third one, that Hideous Strength, and the three of them together make an absolutely outstanding set of vintage pans. So 322, we got The Third Man and The Fallen Idol by Graham Greene. Two stories that made famous films. Another little Graham Greene one there. It's all good stuff. One of their legal books, The Justice at Work, James Avery Joyce. And I said, never have too much trouble finding those in quite nice shape, because I don't think anyone ever actually read them. The River Line, Charles Morgan. Drowning Pool, this is a bit of a classic by John Ross MacDonald. Quite a collectible author, this chap. That's number 325. Christie again. Another one I wouldn't mind a better copy of. I think that's the first, and that's just a reprint of it again. Pretty much an identical cover, so let's just check. I'm sure this tatty one would be my first printing. Yeah, it is. 1955, and this is probably a reprint. It is 1957, but I've kept the two copies because I do like to read the original Pan copies of the Christies. That's how I first ever read a lot of them. This is a nice one here. The Man Who Sold the Moon, 327, classic Robert Heinlein. Very interesting sort of cover on that one, a bit more unusual. Looks like a guy in a spacesuit, but he's actually in an actual suit underneath. So yeah, quite interesting that. 328, Dare to Be Free. Escaper Hidden by Monks, of the Monks of Mount Athos. 328. Great one here, Airy Neve, They Have Their Exits. Great one that, 329. Brilliant stuff. Consul at Sunset, Gerald Hanley. 330. Now, not every single Pan number was actually used in the Number Diary series. There's quite a few that were just remained unused. So if you want an accurate checklist, once again, I very much urge you to go to ticket.net, where there is a checklist of all the series of Pan, and numbers which weren't released, they just, it says never issued. So you're able to get an accurate guide of what is and isn't out there. 331, James Hilton, time and time again. Yeah, Tim's been running that website for many years now, and it is the ultimate resource for Pan and Pan-related memorabilia and books. 332, You'd Be Surprised. Another Peter Cheney there. Set in Paris. Sherlock Holmes, His Last Bow. 333, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Great stuff. Then an absolute bona fide Pan number-only classic here, 334, which is Casino Royale. It's the first and second printings there. Virtually identical. There are little variations, priced, unpriced ones, things like that, but this is the first and the second, I believe. Yeah, that's the first printing there, 1955. This will be my reprint copy. Still 1955. Both quite collectible, so if you ever see this edition, it makes good money on the the old second-hand market, as you can imagine. It's a good £100 plus book, that particular one. Hammerdinner's Trojan Horse. This is another one which has got that glossy cover. If only they all had that, it would be brilliant, wouldn't it? But they didn't. Who Goes Home? Morris Elderman. 336. Intrigue, Ambition and Jealousy in a Parliamentary Setting. Graveyard to Let, Carter Dixon. Scotland Yard, Sir Henry Merivale tackles a mystery in USA. Another legal one there. No Bail for the Judge, Henry Cecil. A Sax Jacket, 338. Another one there. True Crime at Court Circular. This is a film tie-in. Experiences of a London probation officer. Sewell Stokes. Can't imagine it's that actually gripping, to be honest, but there you go. 340. Love Bade Me Welcome. John Lodwick. The Mystery of a Woman's Murder. Tut tut tut. 341, the glossy one again. Death at Half Term. Josephine Bell. A Brabham's jacket on that one. 342, Man About the House. Francis Brett Young. 343, A Hole in the Ground. Andrew Gove. Really nice jacket, that one. Real good attention to detail. Crime story with underground setting by writer of striking originality. 344, The Case of the Lonely Heiress. Earl Stanley Gardner. Once again, a bit of a tatty old worn copy, that one. You do find that with the crime ones. And look at this. Was there ever a more classic jacket? That one. Look at that sparkling cyanide. It's just dynamic in all its like glory, isn't it? It's like capturing that moment. It's just capturing it, and I just love that on a book. You will not see that sort of a cover on a book today. There's so much thought gone into it. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's Pan 345. 346, Daughter of the House, Catherine Gaskin. Good stuff. 347 is a war memoir, Happy Odyssey. Carton Duarte. Memoirs of Lieutenant General Sir Adrian Carton Duarte. With a foreword by Sir Winston Churchill, no less. And 348 is another Saint one here. Saint Overboard. And once again, a really, really nice jacket. This one capturing a moment in the story with the by now famous Saint logo, the little stick man with the halo, incorporated into the cover. Very, very cool indeed. So that was 348. Another great one here, 349. The Singing Sands. Josephine Tay and Inspector Grant. Once again, how the covers have really come on since those early days, and that's a real great one, that. Very, very good indeed. Kevin Fitzgerald, A Throne of Bayonets. 351. Zane Grey, well, we all know about him. Another great Western. This one's by Mortalmans, who actually did a lot of covers for Foursquare around this time, but evidently got the gig for this Zane Grey here. Knights of the Range. 352, another one. It's a back-to-back. The Last of the Plainsmen. That does also look like a Mortalman's signature as well. Very, very small in the bottom, which is cool. 353, Renee's Daughter. It's another White Oak by Maza de la Roche. 354, Madden's Rock. Hammond Dinners, one of his more famous ones. 355 here, The Clue of the New Shoe. Arthur Upfield. A Case of Detective Inspector Bonaparte. 356. Looks familiar. Book of Trials, another one of their true crime tie-ins. 357. Secret Adversary, another Christie classic. Not the greatest of jackets on that one, not by one of the more famous artists in my book, but still very, very nice indeed. We love all the Agatha Christies. 358. Look at this. Flight into Space. Facts about space exploration. So it's a factual book. It's got a cover by, look at Corden, it looks like. Not a name I recognise. A very, very nice jacket indeed, though. Nice copy of that one. It almost looks science fiction, but it's not. $3.59 here. More Ghost Stories of an Antiquary, M.R. James. Absolutely great book. These are fantastic, aren't they? Pan did ghost stories and horror and science fiction extremely well. Good speaking, $3.60. Well, what can you say? Look at the chops on that. Dear, oh dear. $3.61. Nice, great Saint book here. Saint in Miami. Mortimer. Looks like the signature. $3.61. He's in a predicament there. $3.62. Hatred, Ridicule, or Contempt. A Book of Libel Cases. Joseph Dean. Another crime-ish title. Like a true crime title. $3.63. Detection Unlimited. Georgette Hare. Nice one there. And $3.64. The Road to Endor. E.H. Jones. First World War's most famous escape book, with a foreword by author of The Wooden Horse, which is Paul Bruckles. So there you go, a First World War escape. Well, we like escape books, don't we? Although predominantly Second World War escapes are the ones I like. Slide that one over there. Surface, Alexander Fullerton, $3.65. Secret of the Chimneys, $3.66. Agatha Christie again. We do love Agatha Christie. $3.67. The Year of Lion. Year of the Lion. Gerald Hanley. Natural Causes. $3.68. Henry Cecil. Nice little copy of that one. Another science fiction title. Child's End. $3.69. Story of peace on Earth enforced by the overlords of space. Brilliant stuff. The Way Some People Die, $3.70. This is another one which has got that lovely glossy cover. John Ross MacDonald. The Darby Mystery, Austin Freeman. A Dr. Thorndyke detective story. Look at that, that's really nice, isn't it? Under like the magnifying glass there. Looking at detail on the coin. Bruce C. Window, that was the artist I was trying to recognise just now. $3.72. The Desperate Hours, Joseph Hayes. Tense story of family held as hostages by escaping convicts, now filmed. Opening Night, J.R. Marsh, $3.73. Good stuff here. I Spied for Stalin, $3.74. Nora Murray. Building of Jauna, another Mazur de la Roche, a romance one, $3.75. Andrew Garve again, Death in the Sky Above, $3.76. Great author, that one. $3.77 is another science fiction, Heinlein again, The Green Hills of Earth. That is super, super cool. Science fiction at its best, no less. Very, very nice indeed. $3.78, A Surgeon's Heritage, James Harpole. Enthralling Harley Street Experiences. There we are. Great stuff. So $3.79 is The Big Pickup. This is from Elliston Trevor. This was the Allies getting rescued from Dunkirk. Quite an interesting little story there. Another Christie. This one a bit more iconic, I would say, because it's got that fantastic jacket. 1-2 Buckle My Shoe. The Poirot story. Dark Wanton, $3.81. Peter Cheney, no less. Everyone's a wanton with that guy. Magnet of Doom, $3.82. A Simonon. What a great one that is. I do love Simonon from this period. I think he was fantastic. John Creasy, A Beauty for Inspector West. Another highly detailed cover there for Pan, $3.83. $3.84. Death of a Lake, a Bonaparte detective story here again. Arthur Upfield. Glossy cover. $3.85. Zane Grey Western again, To the Last Man. Great jacket on that one as well. They really are hitting it out of the park at this point, aren't they? One I wouldn't mind getting on my upgrade list here, Call for the Saint. Bit of a beaten up old copy, that one, but it'll do for now. 387, Quiet Under the Sun, Kevin Fitzgerald. Now, you ask any collector, even if they've completed a run, and they say, oh yeah, but I've got to do my upgrades, haven't I? So you never stop collecting them. 388, Soldier from the Wars Returning. So even the most common pan, if it's in really tip-top shape, I'm going to pick it up, because chances are it might be better than what I've got, you know. 389 here, Earl Stanley Gardner, The Case of the Lazy Lover. Now, Carter Dixon now, Curse of the Bronze Lamp, 390, another one which is a glossy cover. It's got a Josh Kirby cover, marked, signed there, Kirby. It's great stuff. And I think that's one of the real attractions for pan, and probably why I got collecting them to begin with, is that there is a finite number, and apart from a few obvious expensive books, things like Casino Royale or the early Agatha Christie's, on the whole you can pick any of these books up for between £2 and £5, depending on the condition, even online. And there's a very good chance that you could find some just out in the wild still in charity shops and boot sales and things like that. And that, I think, is what makes them so collectible nowadays. It's just brilliant fun to collect these. 391 here, The Last Voyage. The true story of a desperate escape and a tragic shipwreck. Oh dear. 392. Oh, I just love it. I love it so much. Moonraker, the second Fleming, published by Pan. It's just incredible. I love it so much. This original jacket, it's one of my absolute favourites. And once again, it's best part of £100 book, that particular one. Another great one, also one of my all-time favourites, the second Ghost book, Cynthia Asquith. Look at that, what an evocative cover. It looks like a ghost story, doesn't it? It really does. Nice big list. I do love those sorts of anthologies. I'd never have time to read a full-on ghost story, you know, as a full novel, but short stories, anthologies, love them. This is a great movie tie-in. That's Sid James and Diana Dors there. Absolutely. I never actually got around to seeing this film, but it's a great Pan jacket. I think that's virtually copied from a still. But yeah, I must watch that one. I really liked Sid James. He seemed to be in everything back then, didn't he? Strangeland, Hammer Dinners again, one of his most famous ones. A thriller set in Morocco. 5 Against the House. Ingenious thriller of a casino robbery. Look at that, Jack Finney. Excellent stuff. Ocean's 13 or Ocean's 11. The Last Enemy. Famous book by Battle of Britain fighter pilot Richard Hillary. That's a nice dynamic cover as well. Look at that. Very, very nice. Good handwriting. One of their little instructional books for $3.98. John C. Tarr. Genevieve. Great jacket, that one. Story of the film. With some stills. I wanted to see, are we on to 56? No, 1957 in fact now. So we've gone a couple of years. And you'll notice that these tail end ones for 2 shillings, you're not going to get such a big book on the whole, you know. Number 400 goes to The Gypsy in the Parlour, Marjorie Sharp. I wouldn't have said anything too special about that. It wasn't like being celebrated, but that was number 400. 401 here. Madeline Duke, Top Secret Mission. Girl agent tells how she traced missing German atom scientists. According to the evidence, Your Honour, Henry Cecil, 402. That's great, isn't it? I quite like the detail there in the magazines behind his face. It's a shame that it's one of them's covered up with the blimmin' logo, but there we go. That's how these things go. Here's a Saint again, Saint of Mr. Teal, Leslie Charteris. Corner missing there. That better go on the upgrade list. I'm sure it already is, to be honest. Seawolf and a Biscuit, the novel filmed as Sea Wife, and this has got a beautiful Pef jacket. Look at that. There's his signature. Lovely detail. I think who played the sea wolf, or the sea wife as it were, in the movie. I'm trying to think who it was. I'm tempted to say Joan Collins, but yeah, it is. Yeah, the sea wife, Joan Collins. There we are. One of her early roles. There she is. Actually, yeah, you can't not see her now. It's obviously Joan Collins, isn't it? Oh, brilliant stuff. There we are. Yeah, there she is, one of her early films. Really, really nice jacket on that one from Pef, who we love. The White Oak Brothers, Mazur de la Roche, 405. Look at that, Nina Baldwin. Another great one there. The Odd Flamingo. Another crime title. I love these when they're in nice condition as well. They are just gorgeous. A Simonon, Girl in Waiting, Chit of a Girl, 407. Enjoy your gardening. Well, she obviously isn't she, that young girl there, making a mess with her watering can. An expert advises how to avoid needless work in your garden. God, I wish I ought to read this myself. In all honesty, my garden's well overgrown at the moment. And then The Killer Mine, Hammond Innes, 409. Another great title there. Washed Up on the Shore. Fantastic. It's another John Ross MacDonald, The Ivory Grin, a Lou Archer detective story. They Come by Appointment, 411. Experiences of a London surgeon, George Sava. He did a few of those sorts of books for Pan, actually. There's more to come later on. Death in Captivity, Michael Gilbert, 412. A prison camp detective story. How cool is that? Very, very good indeed. Captures two of my pet subjects. 413, The Humankind, Alexander Barron. Another really, really nice detailed jacket on that one. You'll Die in Singapore. Well, I hope not. 2,000 Mile Escape from the Japanese. Great one this. Defender's Triumph, Edgar Lustgarten. Lovely, nice, great active jacket that. 4 famous murder trials in which the brilliance of the defending barrister secured the prisoner's acquittal. There we are. Excellent stuff. Love and Marriage, Dr. Eustace Chesser. How to Make the Most of Your Life. A Pef jacket. Look at that, a little Pef jacket. Cool stuff. 416 that was. 417. Then a Soldier, Geoffrey Cottrell. Army life as it really was. He always strikes me as that, looks like the guy from Clive Dunn from Dad's Army. Case of the Dubious Bridegroom, another glossy cover here. Earl Stanley Gardner for 418. There he is, in his library, in his California study. Here she is again, another absolutely great jacket for this Christie. Appointment with Death, number 419. I love it. There she is on the back. Science fiction. I'd love a better copy of this one, but it seemed quite scarce, so I've been on the lookout for a better one for quite a while. Number 420, Arthur C. Clarke, Earthlight. It's just the greatest jacket, isn't it? A Story of Conflict on the Moon. And I actually like Arthur C. Clarke. Admittedly, he's a little old-fashioned now, but you know, you could say he's from the golden age, couldn't you? The golden age of science fiction. John Creasy, 421. Inspector West Makes Haste. 422. The Spoletta Story, James Dillon White. Love, Fear, Hate and Conflict Among Sicilian Bandits. Life in Our Hands, 423. The book's getting quite thin now. Nursing Sisters War Experiences, Pamela Bright. Because if they're any bigger, they would be released as a great pan rather than a normal numbered pan. Western here, Glory Hole by Taylor, 424. Blimmin' outstanding copy of that one. It really, really is. Very, very nice indeed. If only they were all like that, eh? The Golden Summer, Anne Duffield, 425. 46, It's Different in July, Kevin Fitzgerald. Nice Rex cover on that one. Miss Pym Disposes, another Josephine Tay. It's very good, great crime writer. The Case of the Backward Mule, Earl Stanley Gardner, 428. Island of Terror, Sapper, 429. 430, Dust in Sunlight, Catherine Gaskin. A Woman's Search for Happiness by the author of Sarah Dane. 431, The Perfectionist, Lane Kaufman. Who Spoiled a Perfect Crime? Another great, great jacket. Look at the detail on it. This is literally Pan Books at its best, isn't it? Oh, we love them. Dark Interlude, Peter Cheney, glossy cover, 432. That one's a Pef jacket. I just see his signature down the bottom there. No Man's Mistress. This is a war one again, a war memoir. Alexander Fullerton. Blandford did the cover art on that one. A Western, Max Brand, The Gun Tamer. Mortimer, I think that was. A Romance of New Mexico. The Noonday Devil, Ursula Curtis. A Rex jacket on that one, 435. Sinners and Shrouds, Jonathan Latimer, great book this one, read this one, 436. Great Pef jacket as well. I mean, just the details, fantastic. Really, really good, and a really good book as well. Recommend that one. Another great one here, 437, Journey into Space. This was originally like a BBC radio series. This is the book of it. Charles Chilton. Great, great jacket on that. A real nice perspective one. 438 is The Saint Steps In. And Charteris again. The little saint there putting the boot in himself. The saint silhouette, which is very cool. 439, The Megstone Plot, Andrew Garve. A Fraud to Catch a Fortune. Western again, Sourdough Gold, James B. Hendricks. Taylor cover, I believe it's a American import. That was number 440. 441, Cake in the Hat Box, a Bonaparte detective story. Arthur Upfeld, what detail in that. I love it. What a great jacket that one is. Very, very nice indeed. And then the last one in the numbered series is Black Water, 442, with a Taylor cover. It's a Western, Frank O'Rourke. And this one dates from 1958, and that was the last numbered Pan book in their numbered only series. So there you go. Hope you've enjoyed that little tour through the complete Pan numbered only series. Sadly, I've not got all the great Pans or Pan giants, but I'm definitely working on it, and if I ever do complete those series, I shall do a similar retrospective again. But until then, hope you've enjoyed this video. Once again, make sure you check out ticket.net. It's such a great resource if you are into Pan books. You'd be crazy not to go and take a look at that. Thanks very much for watching today. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage Pan and vintage paperback content, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.